Nestle has now clarified that the company's infant food formulation for children below 18 months is done on a global basis, and the allegation that it is racially stereotyped is unfortunate and untrue. Now, Nestle India says that the added sugar content in Cerelac is much lower than the upper limit prescribed by FSSAI. There is nothing in the product that makes it potentially of any risk to any child anywhere. Now, as per Food Safety Standards Authority of India, the permissible level of added sugar is 13.6 grams per 100 grams of feed. Nestle says that it adds only 7.1 grams, which is well below the standards in India and the maximum limits set up by FSSAI. Earlier this month, Swiss FMCG major Nestle was accused of selling products with more sugar content in less developed countries. According to findings by Swiss NGO Public Eye, Nestle sold baby products with higher sugar content in less developed South Asian countries, including India, in Africa, in Latin American nations, as compared to its market in Europe. This is an ongoing story where Nestle finally has come out and clarified that the added sugar is well below the permissible limit. With me in the studios are my colleague Kartik, Malhotra, Krishna Kumar. Kartik, I want to come to you first. Nestle is clarifying what we already have been stating from day one, that first, it advertises that it has sugar in Cerelac. Number two, it is well within the permissible limit. So where is the problem then?
I think the problem, very simply put, Shweta, is that the permissible levels prescribed by FSSAI are perhaps either outdated or definitely need a re-examination, and a new limit needs to be set, because if there are global health bodies and agencies within and outside India, including practicing pediatricians who say very clearly that children don't need any sugar content whatsoever, then pretty much FSSAI needs to recalibrate its own reporting structures and its own prescriptions by telling these global FMCG giants as well as their Indian counterparts that added sugar need not be added to any baby food.
All right. So essentially, Krishna, the problem that I'm seeing at the moment is that although Nestle India is saying, the MD came out on record to say that we are not differentiating India from the rest of the world when it comes to Cerelac for children below 18 months of age. What about children who are over 18 months of age? You are adding sugar and it's not needed.
Right. And of course, it's baby food, for God's sakes. You know, this is a situation where they are under the permissible limits that are set by India. But at the end of the day, the question here is that is the amount of sugar added for the Indian and other South Asian markets more than what they add in the European markets? And why is it that so? So clearly, because the standards set in Europe and other Western markets are much higher, or rather the permissible limits are much lower than that, and so they have to adhere to that. So this is a question of whether Nestle is staying true to what it should ideally be doing when it comes to its baby food. Not as a question of, we are sticking to technicalities. What Nestle has come out here and said is that, technically speaking, we are below the permissible limits prescribed by your Food Safety Authority.
So technically we are right.
Yeah, it's a technicality. The question is, why this much sugar in the first place, when you clearly understand how much of sugar is even required by a human body on a daily basis?
All right. So technically, Nestle is saying that it has done nothing wrong. In fact, the FSSAI set limits are being adhered to. The upper limit is also being adhered to when it comes to every feed for every 100 grams of Cerelac. But so far, it's the regulations that need to play the catch-up.